today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
We're talking about Miss Suburbia Betty Crocker here.
I went looking for love online.
Now, she's having an international sexting affair.
She's leaving her husband.
You're going to marry somebody in Kenya that you've never met.
I want to marry her.
I've seen pictures.
He has gotten naked on the screen.
And deserting her kids.
She told me the children are welcome to come with her, but if they don't, she's going anyways.
Is this all a scam?
What happens if he's just using my wife to get a green card?
Kevin agreed to meet with my team. You're involved with a married woman.
Yeah, I'm aware about that.
I want to introduce you to Keith, who is her husband.
This woman was a gift from God, and I will fight until the very end to save her. A man doesn't steal another man's wife.
Anything you want to say to Kevin?
I love you, baby.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, now Keith says he was living the American dream, raising his beautiful family with the love of his life, his wife of 18 years, Sarah. Now that is until about a year ago when he says he noticed a drastic change in her behavior. Now Keith says Sarah used to be a loving housewife. She was the secretary at the church and a Sunday school teacher. She was a nurturing mother. She homeschooled their 4 boys for 10 years. But out of nowhere, Keith claims Sarah became distant, started neglecting her parental duties, and became obsessed with her new smartphone. But he says nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared him for what happened a few weeks ago when Sarah announced she's no longer in love with him, wants a divorce, and is leaving him for another man. But that's not all. Sarah says the man she's madly in love with is a 26-year-old pastor who's named Kevin, and he lives in Kisii, Kenya. But here's the thing. Sarah's never even met Kevin. I know what you're thinking, but you just might be wrong this time. Keith says this whole thing is totally crazy, and what's more, it's very dangerous. He says his biggest fear is that his wife Sarah will be raped, murdered, sex trafficked, or even taken into the jungle and eaten by lions and jackals. Take a look.
My wife Sarah and I have been happily married for 18 years. We have 4 beautiful boys. She was the church secretary and homeschooled our children, a perfect housewife and mother. Sarah is my best friend, the love of my life, and a gift that God gave me. 2 years ago, everything changed. She went to a Nigerian all-natural doctor for some help. She lost 15 pounds, changed her diet, and stopped breastfeeding. I wasn't physically attractive to her anymore. I was devastated. She lost interest in being intimate with me. She started buying sexy underwear. 8 months ago, I found out that Sarah was messaging and sexting African men online. We agreed to work on our marriage and went to counseling. Each day we're supposed to pray for each other. God, protect my wife from believing the lies of the enemy. Protect her from people who seek to take advantage of her or who seek to hurt her. And then the bombshell. Sarah says she no longer loves me and she wants to start a new life with some guy from Kenya named Kevin. She's never even met other than online. She said she wants to divorce me and abandon me and my 4 children. When I asked her what Kevin has that I don't, she goes, "Oh, you don't want to compare." Well, you know, the stereotype they say about African men, there's no way you can compare even if you get on Viagra. Oh, I was beyond angry. She's blinded by this guy. I think Sarah's being brainwashed. She's put me through hell right now, but I cannot say anything bad about her. I want to be the rudest, most vindictive person right now, but I can't because I love her so much. If Sarah goes to Africa, she may end up disappearing in the jungle and getting eaten by lions or jackals. I hope that Dr. Phil can help me. The Sarah that I married would have never wanted to leave me.
Well, first off, I'm glad to meet you, but sorry for the occasion. I wish we were talking about damn near anything
You ain't
else.
kidding.
So, you say she wants to divorce you. Has she filed?
Not that I'm aware of. I know she's contacted a lawyer, and she just asked me what I would do if she gave me the papers, and I said I wouldn't sign them because I'm not ready to give up yet.
Do you know how long she's been talking to these African men?
That I can figure out, I can trace one of them back to January of 2017. She says it goes back even farther.
Okay, so somewhere in there she was talking to him that you didn't know about.
Right.
And you just found out about it, and she said it's been going on, you didn't know about
I
it.
found out about it in March.
We're talking about Miss Suburbia Betty Crocker
Yeah.
here. And then all of a sudden, she's having an international online sexting affair
Right.
with some guy in Kenya.
Right. Well, actually, it was more than just him.
Well,
He's
I
just
know.
the one that she's leaving me for.
Okay, now, not only is she saying she's going to divorce and leave you, what does she say about the 4 children?
She told me that the children are welcome to come with her, but if they don't, she's going anyways.
So you got a mother here that's saying, I'm out of here, they can go, they can stay, whatever, I'm leaving. How about a character is that for her?
Very.
You checked her Facebook last Saturday, right? And she was
It
still
was-
logged in?
Yes, it was, like I say, it wasn't checking her Facebook. We have, I went to click on the icon. She had left herself logged in. So as soon as it popped up, I went to immediately cancel all because I didn't want her to think I was spying on her. And an instant message
Oh, no,
popped
I
up.
wouldn't want to upset her.
I understand, but at the time we were trying to, like I say, this is before it all hit the fan.
Okay, and she says that she's just not in love with you anymore.
Right.
And that she wants to have a completely different sex life with this Kenyan.
Well, she offered at first that she would like to still stay married to me, but be married to him too, and then she could just like a snowbird, spend her summers over there and her winters over here or whatever. And when I didn't go for that, then she didn't like that. That's when the divorce came up. She said that she would choose him. I asked her, so who do you choose, me or him? She goes, you don't want to know the answer. And I said, you just gave it to me.
Well, she said, this is a quote, she says, devil has taken over my husband's and he cannot perform, I need the Kenyan.
Yes.
What is that?
I guess, I don't know what language it is, but it's African for so the devil has taken over my it doesn't work anymore, and the Kenyan's going to take care of her.
Yeah. So she's insulting you as well as betraying you.
Oh, that's just, I'm not even giving you the good stuff.
This isn't something where she's just a little off the bubble here. This is way extreme, because that tells me something, that she hasn't just kind of drifted a little left of center. She's gone way out here.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't, this wouldn't even be in her vocabulary. This wouldn't be in her nomenclature to talk like this.
No. So she believes that she is cheating on him with me. And I said, no, let me get one thing straight. We are married. You are cheating on me with him.
Okay. And what do you do for a job?
I'm a steel worker.
Uh-huh. And you provided for this family.
Oh, yes.
And you've had these children. You've provided for them well. You've been there for her. You've been there for the children. Mm-hmm. And you've not had blow-ups in your marriage along the way.
No, I mean, nothing more than the usual. You know, why didn't you put the cupcakes away, or the milk? You left the milk on the refrigerator again. That kind of stuff. I mean, no major blow-ups. That's why this came like out of nowhere. And the thing that pains me the most is the woman that I want to talk to about this, my best friend, is the one that's causing all the pain.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Keith says that his wife, Sarah, loves African men because they're beautiful, exotic, sexually loose, unlike her husband, Keith. Well, Sarah's here, and we're going to meet her after the break and hear what she has to say about this. you sexted back and forth.
Right.
He has gotten naked in front of you, right?
I've seen pictures.
You're just in love with Kevin.
Yes.
What's your problem with this guy? Now, how do you think they'll feel about the fact that their mother's saying, I'm going to Africa and maybe I'll see you again, maybe I won't?
I hope they'll understand.
Sarah's been in online relationships with at least 3 or 4 different African men. I've caught my wife sexting with several of these guys. In another exchange, my wife even said, the devil's taken over my husband's and he can't please me like the Kenyan can. Sarah says I'm into African men because they are beautiful. This is so out of character for my wife. I don't even recognize her anymore.
Sarah says her husband Keith is intimidating, controlling, and aggressive, and she hasn't been attracted to him in years. Now, to fill that void, Sarah says she began dating African men online. Not a man, but African men, because they provided the attention, sweetness, and sexual freedom that she has long craved. Sarah says she is madly in love with her current boyfriend, Kevin, and as soon as she gets her tax return in February, she's going to Kenya to marry him. Take a look.
When I told my husband that I wanted a divorce, he was hurt, devastated, angry. It had been a long time coming. I've not been attracted to my husband Keith for years. Our intimacy was never great, so I went looking for love online. In January, I had my first relationship with a man from Ghana. Things got intimate very quickly. We started sexting. He even sent me pictures of himself naked. Then my husband caught me cheating.
My wife even sent pictures of herself in her new sexy underwear. It was devastating because she was making an international mockery of me.
He made me promise not to contact him again. I promised I wouldn't, but I still did. When I met Kevin, I really was taken with his gentleness. Kevin is a really happy person, and he's a beautiful African man. When he texts me, he smothers me in love, and he calls me baby, queen. Just makes me feel special. Today, I messaged Kevin. He said, hello, my queen. I want to take off your clothes, baby. And then I said, I can't wait for that too, my love. Kevin lives on a farm that has an orphanage in Kisii, in Kenya. He is a pastor to the children. We have the same faith background.
I think that Kevin's either using my wife to get her money or to get a green card to get to the United States. There's no way I would ever let her take my money to fund her dangerous behavior.
I know Kevin is legitimate because I've met his parents on live chat. They are very excited for Kevin to have met me. It's not weird to me that I haven't met him. I believe Kevin is 100% worth leaving my husband and children. I believe Kevin loves me 100%.
Well, Sarah, thank you for being here. If you were watching this story on the Dr. Phil show, what would you think?
I wouldn't think that would be my life.
You've been married how long?
18 years.
And then now you're leaving him and going to marry somebody in Kenya that you've never met. If you were watching that, would you think, that's odd?
I would think that would be exciting.
How much of this is lust and how much of it's love?
Maybe half and half.
Because you sexted back and forth?
Right.
Yeah. He apparently has gotten naked in front of you, right, on the screen?
It really isn't even about being naked. It's the words. Oh, I've seen pictures.
Have you sent him nude pictures of yourself?
A few, not many.
What was his reaction?
He liked them.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's 26.
His ID says he's 20. You know that, right?
Right. In Kenya, it's common for people to decrease their age on their IDs in order to work longer for retirement.
That is true in Kenya, because I've got investigators on the ground in Kenya. We've met him, we've been there, we've talked to him. this is his identification card. And he told producers, and Sarah, he's 26, the card shows his date of birth is 97, making him 20 years old. So he has a fraudulent ID. Now, what's your problem with this guy?
I really don't have a, I do have a problem, but I don't have any ill will toward Keith.
Right. You're just in love with Kevin.
Yes.
And did you say, I'm going, kids can go, stay, doesn't matter, I'm going either way?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, how do you think they'll feel about the fact that their mother's saying, I'm going to Africa and maybe I'll see you again, maybe I won't?
I don't plan to stay there forever. I hope they'll understand.
All right, well, let's take a break quickly. Sarah says she's in love with Kevin. Her husband and family are 100% sure she's being love scammed in some way. We're going to talk about how that might be going on after the break. And I've got some questions for her about Kevin, because there's some things that I know about him that might be of interest to her.
Sarah doesn't have a clue of what she's getting herself into if she moves to Kenya.
She wants this to be real, but she's not living in reality right now.
I feel terrible for Keith. He's never been my favorite son-in-law, but I don't wish this kind of pain and emotional suffering on anyone.
If this is the true Sarah, then I don't know my sister at all.
And later, and you're 44, and he's 26. You're certainly old enough to be his mother.
Sure.
Have you ever asked yourself, why me?
Sarah used to be attentive, always playing with the children. Now, Sarah has put her own needs above our children. She's stopped going to doctor's appointments, football games, parent-teacher conferences, any activity that involved the kids. She always has something better to do. We no longer have family dinners. She didn't even go to the hospital when our 5-year-old had oral surgery. She even told me that the children are welcome to come with her to Africa, but if they don't, she's going without them.
Well, Sarah's sister Jennifer says she's 100% certain Kevin is scamming Sarah. She says even if Kevin is legitimate, what kind of man would ask a married woman to leave her husband and children? Now, Sarah's parents, Brenda and Jim, claim they were completely blindsided by Sarah's online affair. Jim says if Sarah really does leave for Kenya, he'll have no choice but to go after her. Take a look.
I believe Sarah's being scammed. This is much more than a midlife crisis. She wants this to be real, but she's not living in reality right now. I could never imagine my sister sexting, especially being a Christian and a mother.
Sarah doesn't have a clue of what she's getting herself into if she moves to Kenya.
Between sex trafficking and the diseases that are out there, she is not prone to getting immunizations of any kind. Why would she go to a country where there are so many diseases?
I would like to say to Kevin why you would come to my sister. He was a married woman, tried to lure her away from her husband and her children to take her to a completely different country.
I feel terrible for Keith. He's never been my favorite son-in-law, but I don't wish this kind of pain and emotional suffering on anyone.
If this is the true Sarah, then I don't know my sister at all.
My biggest fear is that she will get on a plane, go to Africa, and we'll never see her again.
Well, thank you all for being here, because I think this is important and timely. When we were talking with Sarah, she said that when she talked to her family, I have the quotes, but she said they were very surprised, but supportive. Then we talked to you, and you were shocked and anything but supportive. So why did you say they were supportive?
I meant emotionally supportive. They weren't, like, hateful toward me.
They didn't beat the hell concept of bailing on your family,
that's not what I meant.
your children at all. Are y'all supportive of this in any way whatsoever?
No.
Not at all.
No.
You said if she goes, you're going after her.
If I came here, I can go there.
Right.
Yeah.
You said if it doesn't work, you'll just come back to him.
Not necessarily.
That's what you said.
Maybe I did, but
No, maybe you did. You said if it doesn't work, and in fact, she told you that.
She told me that too.
You didn't just tell us, she told you
No,
that.
she told me.
If it doesn't work, I can always come back to you.
Yeah, I told her, so what happens if he's just for a green card? He comes to the United States 6, 12 months, whatever, leaves you. She goes, I'll just come crawling back to you and give you the puppy dog eyes.
I never said that.
What do you think about this?
I'm terrified. And I told Sarah that. She's my daughter. I absolutely fear for her to leave this country, to go to a strange place she's never been to, and to be only around strange people she's never met. That's where I'm at.
Well, you know, we take this very seriously. So we actually have people on the ground in Kenya, in this town. We were going to send one of our Kenyan investigators into Nairobi because I wanted additional information and I also wanted some other questions asked there in the village. And this is what he told our supervising producer here, that the questions I wanted to ask, he refused to ask because he said, this is a very tribal area, and those kind of questions from outsiders could put him in serious danger despite him being Kenyan himself. And when we said, well, can you go to Nairobi and get some court records so we can check on some things like, is this a real orphanage and who is this guy, criminal record, anything at all? And he said, I ain't doing that. He refused to go because he said the roads are filled with armed police and men, and it is incredibly dangerous to travel these roads, particularly right now. This is a Kenyan. He said, I'm not, no. Does that bother you?
It's not in the same area exactly.
It's a safe zone he lives in. I've been told that already. Kevin lives in a safe zone, so none of this matters.
Sarah has a plan. She says that it's all laid out, and we'll hear about it after the break. Kevin agreed to meet with my team.
It's a very rural part of the country, so there are no addresses. That's Kevin.
Closed captioning provided by Sarah says that she has a plan and that by the end of it, she'll be a married Kenyan citizen running an orphanage, and the kids will be calling her Mom. Take a look.
I'm planning to meet Kevin in February. I'm counting down the months to that time.
I asked her why February, and she said, well, because that's tax return time, and I'm entitled to half of your tax return. That way I can get to Africa and I can have money for a ticket for him to come back.
Initially, I would go to Kenya without my children to be with Kevin, but I don't think we'll stay in Kenya, so we'll return. I'd like joint custody with the children, but I know they have a life here.
Sarah even told me that she would like to still stay married to me, but also marry him. She's crazy if she thinks that's going to ever happen.
My dream for Kevin and I is to build homes here and in Kenya. We'd have maybe even dual citizenship. It's expensive to travel, but we'll be patient.
I've told Sarah that Kevin's just using her to get into the United States. She told me, she said, well, if that's the case, I just learn a lesson and then come crawling back to you. I know you'll take me back.
My hope is that Kevin and I live together happily ever after.
We kind of made a list of your plan as you laid it out to us. Divorce Keith. Initially, the kids stay in America, potentially bring them to Kenya later. February of 2018, buy a ticket to Kenya with tax return and marry Kevin and stay in Kenya for 3 to 4 weeks. Have 50-50 custody arrangement with the 4 children with you, and then bring Kevin back to the U.S., set up home here, apply for dual citizenship, and spend part of the year in Kenya and part of the year in the U.S. And in Kenya, live in the house that Kevin is going to build for you on his farm, right?
Right.
run the orphanage with Kevin, and according to Keith, if it's a scam, she'll just go back to you, right?
That's what she said.
Why do you think he's interested in you in particular?
Hopefully, because he loves me.
And you're 44, and he's 26, or 20, or 22, or 3, or 4, we don't know. So you're certainly old enough to be his mother, right?
Sure.
Have you ever asked yourself, why me?
I guess not.
Why not somebody his own age?
He said the women who are in his area are all out for money.
They're all out for money.
Yeah.
And is he wealthy?
No.
So how would that be relevant to him?
Well, he must apparently maybe well off there. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, Kevin agreed to meet with my team, so we sent them to Kisii in Western Kenya.
We are driving through the town of Kisii, Kenya. It's about a 6-hour drive from Nairobi. I've spoken to Kevin on the phone. He gave me directions where to meet him. He described to me how to get there. It's a very rural part of the country, so there are no addresses. I think this is where he told us to come. That's Kevin.
Well, as you saw, we found Kevin in the tiny village of Ogimbo, located in Kisii County, Kenya. So let's take a look.
Sarah is a wonderful lady. I love her so much. She's kind, honest, faithful, beautiful, attractive. She always speaks sweet words to me. What are you doing now? Remember to take your breakfast, you know. I do FaceTime with Sarah more than 5 times a day. I can sex chat with her. I do text her good words, sweet words. Sarah told me that she's married, but she had already decided to divorce. I want to go to the US because that's where Sarah is. I want to marry her. I can be a citizen of Kenya and US. About Sarah's children, I am ready to take them because I love Sarah. Also, I love the kids. I do even talk with the kids. So I like their voices. We make fun with the kids. I am running an orphanage of 31 kids. I started the orphanage because I have a good heart. When I see children suffering, you know, on the streets, so I feel like I am the one suffering. So that's why I decided to take care of those children, give them love. The future plans with Sarah is we want to be great farmers and we want to care for these kids. When I meet her face to face, I will just hold her, hug her, then I will say, welcome, my love. My love to Sarah cannot be measured. It's unconditional and long-lasting, forever and forever.
Well, we're going to talk to Kevin live from his village when we come back. Your plan is to marry Sarah, correct?
Yes, of course.
Well, let me introduce you to her husband.
I will fight until the very end to save her.
Closed captioning provided by Well, it's 10 o'clock p.m. in Kenya. It's about 8,500 miles from here. And joining us live all the way from Kisii, Kenya, I'd like to welcome Kevin. So, hello, Kevin. Kevin, thank you for your patience. I'm here with Sarah, her husband, Keith, her father and her mother and her sister. And they're all very anxious to hear from you. Your plan is to marry Sarah in February, correct?
Yes, of course.
Are you aware that she is married, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm aware about that.
Well, how do you feel about the fact that you are a pastor and you're involved with a woman that is married in the eyes of God?
She has loved me, so, and I have loved her too, so.
Right, but she's married. She has a husband and children.
But she told me that she is divorcing. That's what she told me.
Well, let me introduce you to Keith, who is her husband.
Okay.
Say hello to Keith. Keith, what would you like to say to Kevin?
Hello, Kevin. All of this stuff you're talking about, you're a Christian. I don't know what Bible you guys are reading, but the one I read says that it's one man, one woman. You don't covet your neighbor's wife. And also, I hope you don't think that I will give up willingly. This woman was a gift from God to me, and I will fight until the very end to save her. A man doesn't steal another man's wife.
And if she comes to you in February, then you need to look just down the road about 2 blocks, because right behind her is going to be her husband and her father.
Be glad you're in Kenya.
Amen.
Because they don't respect what you're doing here. They don't respect what you're doing here. I don't advocate violence. I don't incite people to violence. And I am just telling you that they are going to take whatever means necessary to protect their daughter and their wife.
I love Sarah so much. She's in my heart. And I've never found another woman like her.
Anything you want to say to Kevin before we hang up?
I love you, baby.
Okay, Kevin, I thank you for coming on and speaking with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. You're welcome.
So long. We'll be right back. Jennifer wrote in on the Dr. Phil Facebook page saying she was terrified after learning that her sister was divorcing her husband of 18 years with a plan to marry a Kenyan man that she has never even met. But Sarah says her marriage to Keith is just over and has even started the divorce process. What do you guys think about this?
I'm still sticking to my guns. It's some kind of scam, whether to get her to the United States or get her over there for sex trafficking. I don't know, but I'm with Jim.
I think it's phenomenal that he just so happens to be a pastor. He just so happens to have an orphanage, all the things that she loves. He just happens to be a farmer, which she has a great talent and ability in vegetables and gardening. It's a phenomenal idea that all these things just happen to be falling into place.
I know it sounds strange, but he doesn't mean any ill will toward Keith.
Oh, no.
Oh, heaven forbid.
No, he doesn't mean him any will. He's just going to wreck his family and leave his children without a mother and lure his wife halfway around the world. Other than that,
Right.
good on you.
Oh, yeah, it's an everyday thing.
Have you ever heard the old saying, if they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you?
Yeah.
You actually didn't start with him. You actually started with Eric,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Was he Kenyan?
No.
Where was he?
Ghanaian.
He was from Ghana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so you were at first involved with him, right?
Right.
And then when that fell apart, he said you were texting him. He found out about that, and so you stopped that? That fell apart some kind of way?
Right. Eric got busy, so
Okay.
kind of fizzled out.
He dropped you?
Not dropped, but we're just friends now.
He dropped you.
I guess you could say.
Okay, who's Simon?
Oh, Simon's my friend, my first friend from Ghana.
He's from Ghana.
Yeah.
And was there one point at which you were talking to 3 different African men?
I had, yeah, after Eric, I met more.
You met more?
Yeah.
And you said you were asked why you were talking to 3, and you said, well, that way if one's busy, I can talk to one of the other ones.
You talk to different friends at different times, so it's no different.
We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by... Okay, I'm back with a married couple, Keith and Sarah. Her father, Jim, and mother, Brenda, are here, and her sister, Jennifer, is here. Anything you want to say before I launch off here?
Well, I don't think it's appropriate for television, but I'll give it a try. You know I've given you every ounce of my love. You want to destroy this family, that's up to you. I have no control over you, but I ain't going down without a fight.
And Sarah right behind him. I can't in good conscience allow you to get on a plane to Kenya knowing what I know, from the terrorism to the disease that is out there. I see Kevin, he's a real person, I get that. I get that. But for you to go with your children, even in the slightest amount of danger, and yourself, there is no way. You will have to they will tear me off your body. I will be at the airport. It breaks my heart for you because I feel that you're so naive, like you don't realize the dangers in front of you. And now I'm like, where are you? You could care less what I'm saying. I think you have literally lost your mind.
In my opinion, this isn't about Kevin. If what you're doing is picking the most radically different, seemingly exotic alternative from what you have felt like has been a repressive, restrictive, confining, mundane, day after day sameness from a marriage that has lost its luster, so you're looking for something different, something exotic, something exciting, just take me to another life. Before you make an earnest effort to try to fix what you have and where you are, then you're cheating you, you're cheating him, and you're cheating your 4 children. If you want to have a chance at a different life, then you will stop that contact and give this 90 days of an earnest, no kidding, honest attempt to heal this marriage. And if he loves you, then he will honor that space and give you the opportunity to heal your life and heal your family. Give me 90 days. You don't even plan on going until February.
All right.
Now, do you have the emotional integrity to stick with that?
Maybe.
I'm not with her answers.
I will try.
I'm not asking you to try, I'm asking you to do it.
Will I get to say goodbye at least?
Yes,
All right.
today. Because tomorrow starts 90 days. I'm just asking you to give me that time.
Please.
Gonna miss Kevin.
She's gonna miss Kevin.
If it's real, he'll be there. If it's not, it wasn't what you thought it was anyway. I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time.